Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here, and today was my max effort bench press day and I filmed it for you guys as promised. I just want to cover a couple of points before I jump into the training footage, but hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, I strained an intercostal muscle. I thought it was an ab at first, but apparently it's an intercostal. I strained it pretty bad yesterday, and apparently it wiped my central nervous system out because when I missed that squat yesterday, I haven't fully recovered. So my session today, I am not happy with. My last session I filmed for you guys, I was very happy with the numbers. Today, my strength levels were just shot. I'm very unhappy with it. For my max effort work on my bench, I was going to try to build up to a 165 kilo 2-board press. But instead, I failed on a 160. You guys are going to see my failure. I'm going to put it in there. Because even if I have a bad session, if I film a session for you guys are going to see it. So I missed a lift well below what I should have. I'm very unhappy with that because there's no way I should have missed that lift. But again, my nervous system is fatigued. And so I went ahead and just made the most out of my session. The only other thing I might have done different in this particular session is I skipped any overhead pressing because of my intercostal muscle. I didn't think I'd be able to handle any heavy overhead pressing, and I did overhead pressing both of my bench press days last week, so it's okay to skip it this time. Let's jump right to that training now. Okay, I filmed one of my warm-up sets. This is the only one I filmed for you guys, and this is to kind of emphasize the point of using your max effort technique even on your warm-ups. And you'll notice I set up, I get set hard on my traps, get my scapula retracted. I'm set on my traps, I get only my traps and glutes are in contact with the bench and my belly is poked out. If you don't look fat when you're doing a power bench, even if you're at 8% body fat, then your technique is wrong because your belly should be poked out. Alright, and once again, I emphasize the setup by recording the setup. This will be the last time I show you guys my setup. You'll notice the same thing. I pull myself up under the bar, scapula retracted, set back on the traps, on the glutes with an arch, and everything is tight. You should never ever be loose on the bench presses. One of the biggest mistakes people make. They look like a big floppy noodle when they get up on the bench instead of everything being tight and pulled in and ratcheted up. Alright, you come down, sink it into the board, press. Controlled eccentric, sink it into the board, press. And you'll notice I use a little bit of leg drive. Alright, with 150 kilos, which is currently my max bench, this double felt really, really good. In fact, this felt easy enough that I'm really surprised I missed the 160. I was really and truly expecting to make it. Because again, this felt pretty good. The bar speed was decent. I mean, obviously it's not super fast, but it's definitely nowhere near a max. So I thought I easily had another 10 kilos in me, but I was wrong. And here's how the West Side system works. You either PR, or you hit 100%, or you fail. And in this case, I failed. I interact it. You'll notice on the eccentric, I lose it at the bottom. I couldn't control the eccentric, try to drive, nothing. And the board just shut out. And this time, the weight won. And my central nervous system was shot, so it was time to drop back down to about 85% because I simply couldn't handle anything too heavy anymore. And I decided to do a few sets of pause bench with 130 kilos. And I was very happy with this first set. Everything's exactly how I want it to be. Okay, this next set is very much the same. I was very happy with the bar speed, happy with the technique. Overall, this is really good work. And I can't complain about this set at all. I was quite happy with it. Everything was smooth, everything's perfect, good leg drive, good bar speed, and overall good set. Okay, my bar speed is quite a bit slower on this set, particularly on this first rep, and that's the signs that my central nervous system can't really handle much more heavy pressing. So I'm going to need to do some other accessory work before I go back and finish off my triceps. And again, you'll see I'm quite slow at this point, so I'm losing bar speed, losing power very, very quickly. Okay, this next accessory I'm basically just doing like speed pin lay rows with bands on the bottom of the power rack. And I'm not really sure what we would call this other than maybe a speed band pin lay row. And I don't really know how to judge the resistance on it because these bands are so tight and the curve is so steep on it. But in all honesty, since it's practically dynamic effort work anyways, it almost doesn't matter how much weight is there, because all the data we have shows that the faster you move a weight, the more muscle fibers you recruit with any given weight. And so as long as you're moving a weight fast enough and you're hitting at least 50% resistance, you'll recruit all muscle fibers on every rep anyways. And that's one of the beautiful things about speed work. Now, a lot of times I do this lift on my dynamic effort days, but I couldn't really handle a heavy weight today on rows with standard rows due to my intercostal pull, so I went ahead and opted for this to where more of the resistance is at the top and I just have to get it exploded at the bottom. And I did 7 sets of 3 with this. Alright, to finish off my triceps, I selected the reverse band close grip bench press, and there's no better way to murder your triceps than to do accommodating resistance to where more of the weight's at the lockout on a close grip bench press. Alright, at this point I've definitely regained some strength from taking some time to do those rows as far as my pressing, and this set felt really good in my triceps. They were firing really, really hard at the top. So I decided to step the weight up just a little more for the next set and see if I could get 2 to 3 reps. But this one felt really good. Alright, this set felt great, but it took a bit out of me, and I knew that I would have to step the weight down again after that. But this double really, really helped my triceps fire a lot harder, and I think that's something I really need right now on my bench press, is to engage my triceps more because I'm so chest dominant. And this is my final set of these. This is enough heavy power work for my triceps. They're going to need just a little more volume after this, but this is definitely enough power work for them. I feel like they've fully recruited as much power as I can get out of my triceps in one session. For my final tricep movement, I decided to just rep out 2 plates per side on the close grip bench press, because people forget that when you're trying to induce metabolic fatigue, you only need 1 set to get near failure with high reps or to go to failure in order to induce maximal metabolic fatigue if you've already fatigued the muscles with heavy work. So there's no need to base your whole routine oftentimes around doing high rep training. 1 set will do it, and I'm hitting all the major movers that I use during this session: the triceps, the delts, and the chest, because I'm a chest dominant bencher even on the close grip bench press to some extent. And not a single curl was done that day. But in the words of C.T. Fletcher, listen here, you poot butt ass motherfuckers. I don't do it right because I don't want to do it right. And bicep stimulation is bicep stimulation, regardless of what your technique looks like. Alright, I get a little stricter here, getting a little better range of motion at the bottom, but look at that powerlifter physique. That's what a real man looks like, bodybuilders. That is what a fucking real man looks like. Nobody cares about your little 8-pack and your veins running through it. Lift some heavy ass weight, get fat, eat, get big. And stop fucking around. You can cut up later. Of course, I'm just trolling you guys there a little bit because I used to be a competitive bodybuilder a decade ago. But the point is, there are too many guys focus on trying to get ripped and lean when they're really tiny as fuck. And it's just so counterproductive. You really need to build a foundation and put some size on and not worry about your abs for a couple of years. And once you have your foundation built, then you can get shredded when you have some actual muscle to show for it. And that's my general advice. Spend a year or 2 bulking. Don't worry about the cuts that early on. Alright, and this is my final set, so this is 4 sets of 10, and yes, barbell curls are considered to be a bench press accessory for powerlifters because the bicep and the brachialis both stabilize your tricep on your bench press. So it actually is important that you get a fair amount of bicep development and hypertrophy in order to improve your bench press. So it actually is important, and most powerlifters do fairly high rep curls as part of their program. Alright, and my last accessory lift is something I do every bench press session. I did 3 sets of 10 on this. These are band face pulls, and these are probably the most effective rear delt exercise that you'll be able to come up with, and they're actually very good for the medial delt as well, in addition to the fact that they are a great rotator cuff strengthener. So they're overall, this is a good lift to do as an accessory for your bench press and for your entire shoulder girdle and shoulder girdle safety. And overall, I was really happy with all of my accessory work in this program. I wasn't happy with the max effort work, but the accessories were great. And you sometimes just have to make the best of it when your central nervous system is fatigued. And I hope you guys learned a few things about how I train and some tips and things on how to bench press and how to set up accessories for them. So I hope this has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.